Okay, alright. Add it up. Okay, alright.
Now we're back.
We're
and
back.
we got sounds.
Sorry for the restart.
All right.
And I did it both.
All right.
Before the intro.
All right. Now we've got sound. We got people. We got everything going on. We're good. Now is the time that we're going to, as people join. Oh my goodness. we had a little technical difficulty on our end, probably because I made you stand up in a chair.
That's what it was.
We're standing up in a chair, but I'm gonna make you stand up on a chair again.
I'll just...
So we're gonna sit here and let people join, but you're going to. There you go. Look at that. Boom. We got friends joining now. We got watch parties going on. Look at that. There is nothing cooler in this world than rainbows.
It's like an ugly sweater unicorn sock.
An ugly sweater unicorn sock, and I absolutely love it.
It's my favorite.
It is awesome. So we are going to talk today. We had a challenge last week. We talked about what a church should look like, what a church would, you guys would want a church to look like, what it would look like if we spent the entire week trying the best we could to follow the Spirit and do what God tells us to do. And so we took a 7-day challenge. Maggie, myself, Kobi, and anyone that joined. So if you decided that as of last week that you were going to take the challenge with us, please, in the comments anywhere, message us and say this is an exciting thing that happened over the week since we met last that God did because we were listening and following the Spirit. So with that being said, I will let Kobi, is there anything that happened to you while you were following the Spirit and listening to God and trying to figure out what God was saying to you and trying to do what God told you to do all week? Anything cool happen?
There's quite a bit of cool things that happened.
I am listening and I can't wait to hear.
So, when we were done Friday, I gave my friend who I haven't spoken to in like 2 years ago, see how he was doing. He was doing great. And he was glad that we were communicating again because we missed each other. And I thought that was kind of cool. An old friend.
Awesome.
It was like the big thing. I was like, yeah.
You got to reconnect.
Yeah, I got to reconnect. It was
you
awesome.
felt like it was time to call and you felt God leading you to call and connect with him. Did you talk about anything important? Or anything at all? Just chit-chat and hanging out?
Just chit-chatting. See how we were doing. It's been 2 years.
And so how did that make you feel?
It made me feel really great.
That's great. And see, following the Spirit really is awesome sometimes, right? Anything else happened? I'm sure people will want to hear. So we've got Jeff Gilcher and Mark Brackman joined. I don't know, they might have joined and then jumped back off, but that's okay. We're just going to talk and we're going to see. Okay. So what else did you do this week that was led by the Spirit that kind of worked out pretty well?
I hung out a lot with my Uncle Lonnie.
Your Uncle Lonnie, what happened? Tell us what happened there.
So he lives in Kentucky, and he came up and we spent 48 hours of just fun talking and shopping. But there was a lot of like nice conversations and really cool, like, wow, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
One of those aha moments, I guess.
Yeah, I went shopping with them for the last part. They went shopping for a while, and I went shopping with them for the last day. And this wonderful polo shirt that you see, Ralph Lauren polo. So Lonnie, if you're watching, and when you see this, Lonnie, we were talking about the challenge that we were doing, and I'm like, you know, that's a really nice shirt, Lon. Lonnie sells things online. He goes, he buys things, and he sells them online. So if he gets a good deal, then he, he makes his money. That's how he does things. He sells things online, it's back and forth, and he's really good at it. He does mostly purses and high end things. So he's known for high end items, and he knows where to get them and knows how to get knows how to purchase them at a reasonable price. But anyway, so I seen this shirt that he had in his hands at one of the stores, and he says, "Oh, it's on clearance, so I'll buy it and I'll put it online. And it's really nice and soft, and it's a Ralph Lauren V-neck T-shirt that I'm wearing today. And it was X amount of dollars. And he said, I think this will fit you, Jeff. And you know what happened? It fit me. And so, go ahead and tell them how it happened. Tell them how it went down.
So there was clearance, and typically the clearance at these stores are like 50% off. So if it was like $10, it would have been $5. Well, in this special case, clearance was not 50%, but 90%.
$1 Ralph Lauren polo shirt. And he would have made a ton of money, but God told him to go ahead and let me have it because I needed it. And instead of having to pay half, how much did I pay?
You paid $1.
I paid $1, and he is so mad because he didn't know it was only $1. So I was blessed, and I'll tell you, it was well earned. Hi, Zach. Yes, blessed a couple of times, but it was well earned not earned because you can't earn anything. Everything that is done through God's Spirit, and so it is freely given, so we freely give. But I was tried, but we'll finish up with you before we talk about our trials. How's that? Anything else?
Just a couple things here and there, but nothing.
So did you enjoy the 7-day challenge where you listened to God and you tried to do what God directed you to do?
I did enjoy it.
And do you think that that's something that you could work and practice on and continue to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So my 7-day challenge, we got out on Friday and said we were going to try to follow God's Spirit for 7 days. Just anytime He told us to do something and direct us to do something, we were going to try to do it, right? And so Saturday, within hours of waking up, we were tried. And I'll tell you how we were tried. Kobi knows. Kobi, what is the one situation and the one person that I really thought I would never talk to again in my life?
It would be Daryl Hobbs.
Daryl Hobbs. I had no inkling to talk to Daryl Hobbs. We had a falling out, and I could care less if I ever talked to him again. Didn't want to see his point of view. He didn't want to see mine. We were just done. And this has been going on for quite some years, right? And so, there were some issues that went back and forth between us. And I loved that man like I loved him, like my father for a very long time. And so we decided that Maggie, who is with us, she has been on an air mattress for the last 6 months. So for the last 6 months, Maggie has been on an air mattress. And so she wanted to buy a bed. And the beds are super expensive. Hi, Pam. Beds are super expensive. So we were praying and said, okay, God, what are we going to do? How are we going to get her off the floor, off the air mattress? She's got a room. She's building a bunch of things. She's building, building her new life, and she's starting her new life. And, she's bought a couple pieces of furniture, but she did not have a bed. And so just that Saturday morning, one of our friends, Kelly Rowe, so if you see this, Kelly, thank you. She said, hey, I've got a bed. I bought a brand new bed with our stimulus, and our bed was purchased a couple months ago. It's pretty large. It's king size. Me and Kelly were looking for a king size bed because we kind of, wanted to get a new bed. But Kobe loves our bed, right?
I did.
You thought you loved our bed.
I thought I liked it.
He thought he loved the bed. So we said, okay, what we'll do is we'll get it. We'll get the one from Kelly. We'll give Kobe ours, and Kobe gives his to Maggie. It was awesome. It all worked out. Everyone got beds until he didn't get to like the king size bed, right?
It's not that I don't like it. It's that it's a slope, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I end up in one spot every day.
Yes.
I literally can look across my bed. It's twice the size I am, and I end up in this one little spot that's no bigger than 2 feet.
But once we get you a good frame, and we'll figure it out. We'll fix it out there. So, but everyone's in beds now, right? And so the way that this worked out, hi, Pam, the way that this worked out, and it was God, because, even when we got some good people showing up, or everyone's good, but we got a lot of people starting to show up. But the way this worked out was God. And I'll tell you how it was God. It's because I care less if I ever talk to Daryl Hobbs again, right? And so Pam, it was amazing because Kelly lives 1 block away from the car lot that I used to be a part of, and Daryl Hobbs was there. We drove by, and I jokingly said to my wife, I said, hey, you want to stop by and see Daryl? Ha, 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 ha. Knowing that Would I have stopped to see him?
Probably not.
No. So we get to Kelly's house. We text Kelly, and Kelly's like, hey, we will be about an hour. We're stuck in Wilmington. We'll meet you at the house in an hour. I said, hey, you know what? No problem. Let's go have some lunch. So we go and we have lunch. And we're talking, and just so happens the place we have lunch is literally eye shot from Daryl's truck. And I'm like, Daryl hasn't left yet. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't really care because I don't ever want to talk to him again in my life. Don't care about him. And my wife was like, you know what? Are you sure you don't want to go and say hi to him? You are a pastor of First Christian Church now. You're supposed to be making all the decisions this week based on what God is calling you to do. Maybe, and you're laughing at me because you know Connor's making faces at us. But maybe you should maybe this is God's way of saying you need to go see Daryl. And I'm like, God doesn't want me to go see Daryl. Trust you me, God does not want me to go see Daryl. We head over to Kelly's house, and Kelly calls us. We pull up onto her house, and she says, it's going to be another hour. We're stuck. All right, so let's go driving around. So we go driving around in Trenton, and it just so happened that we kept passing the car lot, and passing the car lot, and passing the car lot. And finally, afterwards, we wait the hour, call Kelly, or Kelly calls us and says, we're still stuck. It's going to be about 40 minutes, or another hour, 40 minutes. No problem. What are we going to do? Well, my wife gets me. She says, well, maybe you should go see Daryl Hobbs. Maybe you were supposed to be here 3 hours ago, and you made the comment of going and seeing him, and you're supposed to be following God. Maybe you need to go. You need to follow God's prompting for you to go and talk to the man. And I said, I'm not going to go do it. She said, oh, so the hour that we waited, and you said you weren't going to do it, and then we waited another hour, and you said you wasn't going to do it. Do you even want to pick this bed up and go home today? Because I don't think you're going to pick up the bed until we go home. And I'm like, fine. We pull into the car lot. He's there with his wife. We walk in. He's there with an old friend of ours that's running the place for him. And we walk in, and his eyes completely light up. For the first 10 seconds, I can tell you right now, God was not in my head, but he was in that room, right? Because I was mad. I didn't want to see the man. I didn't want to talk to him. And we sat and talked, and about 5 minutes into it, I realized that all he wanted, probably from the day that we had that fight, was just to talk. He didn't want anything else. I didn't need anything else. God's blessed me beyond measure for anything that I've lost. And so, in talking to him, he reached up to shake my hand. And when I took his hand and I shook his hand, he was almost in tears and just was overwhelmed that we were actually stopping and talking to him. And so it wasn't for me, it was for him. And then my wife was there, and he just adores my wife, and she shook his hand 30 or 40 times, and he was just, it was awesome. When we talked, and it was awesome. And so there was a release of anger and madness and a little guilt for not going and seeing him before now, and God really prompted. And then it was amazing. It was listening to God even when it hurt. It's hard to listen to God even when it hurts. And so doing that, sometimes that hurts just fades away when you do what he's telling you to do, and it's not even for you. And that's a scary thought sometimes when it's not even. Kelly is good for that. She is very good for that, Pam, because I was not going to stop at all. Was not going to stop. And she made us stop, and it was really awesome. So after that, I got a $1 shirt, a Ralph Lauren $1 shirt. God bless me with the $1 shirt. Blessed me with a brand new watch. My uncle gave me a gift of a brand new watch, and it's just been an amazing week. And so in prayer, there's been a lot of awesome revelation through schooling and listening to God and doing what God tells you and not giving up on schooling. There's been revelation. And then today with Connor, Pastor Connor was and sometimes you'll understand this. Who's the one person that you wouldn't think would be an on-time blessing sometimes? So if you were to think that God's going to direct you and give you what you asked for because he knows you need it, who would you least expect for him to send?
There's quite a few people on that list.
Of our family, of your siblings.
Of my siblings?
Yes. You don't think Quentin would?
They all would. I don't know. This
How
is
about
not-
Ashley? You wouldn't think Ashley would be what God, not that because she's bad or anything, or that she's, we don't want to hear from her, but or any of those things. But that sometimes, Ashley might not be the one to make you feel absolutely in God's presence, right? Just because, she's the oldest, she's always working. We're always talking to her because she's, we have Kingston sometimes, and so, she's always there. So you wouldn't expect God to use her to give you a word, right?
Right.
Because she's always there, right? Well, she did, and Connor witnessed it, and Connor was just kind of like. So Connor comes in, and I'm frustrated. I've been getting it from all different sides, from school, from home, from the community, from the church, from everybody, and just bombarding. And I said, I just wish I had an ally, an advocate, someone I can say, here's how I'm feeling, and there will be no repercussions as to why or what I say. Just because sometimes you need that sounding board, right? And I said, I just need a France. A neutral party that just understands that I'm getting it from everywhere, and everyone's, kind of wanting to take from me time and effort, and not that I don't mind. I love giving it. That's what makes me happy, is to give to people and to give my time and to give, anything that I have to them. But sometimes you just need that moment of just breath, right? You just, I feel better, right? And as soon as I said that, Ashley calls. And she says, hey, I just want to remind you that Kingston's birthday is Saturday, and this is what we're going to be doing. This is where we're going to have it, because I know you get a little busy and everybody's pulling at you and all these things are happening and you've got all this stuff going on. And sometimes people just don't call to, basically tell you, here's something that you need to know. It's morally, most of the time, hey, we need, which I don't mind, but, And she says, just wanted to let you know. I understand. And I went, you know what? Ashley was literally my France today. And I told her, I said, thank you for being my France. So thank you, Ashley. What else is going on? Tell me what happened with you.
Hi, Rob.
Rob?
I had to say hi. I like to say
It's
hi.
Rob. Oh, hey, Rob. What's up? Tell me what else is going on with you this week.
I don't know.
You've had to do something.
I mean, it's just kind of, I know, it's hard to explain it.
Okay.
You're better with words.
Words? I'm better with words?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not better with words. You're better with words. I think that now that we've got some people on here, Pam, Rob, Latanya, Ethan, Darren, all of you guys, Oscar, what's up, man? I think it's time to show your socks one more time. Stand up in the chair, show your socks. I'm impressed and I'm jealous all in the same time. Look at this. Can you see? You got to put your feet, and I'll model them. Ready? Look, unicorns and rainbows. Those are the most awesome socks in the world. I love them. Yeah, and sandals, the slides from Jason Neal. Thanks, Uncle Neal, right?
Right.
So, with that being said, what do you guys think about everybody? Connor Thompson has joined too. Hi, Connor.
Hey, he joined mine too.
Hey,
Hi,
Connor. What's up, Connor? So what do you think about doing, let's take it the next step further. You ready?
Sure.
This week, so we tried to be led by the Spirit this week, right? And do what God is prompting us to do, right?
Okay.
What about this week we work on being servant leaders? For an entire week, let's practice servant leadership in everything that we do. You're silent. Tell me what's going on.
I'm trying to think of what I'm doing this week.
Do you even know what servant leadership is?
Do you know what servant leadership is?
See, that's how he gets me. He gives me the question back and says, and then I have to explain it when you're really the one that should explain it.
Modern problems call for modern solutions.
You know what I see? I
Mirror?
see a mirror. I see a mirror, but it's kind of this mirror,
What?
Connor and you, and not this mirror.
No, because I thought that was a pretty poor comeback.
That was a poor comeback. Modern problems call for modern
I'm
solutions.
just saying, it's not like he mentored me or anything.
That's true. So do you know what servant leadership is?
I do know what servant leadership
Why
is.
don't you share what servant
I
leadership
think
is?
you should share what servant leadership is.
Why is that?
Because, again, not good with words.
Okay, I will share what servant leadership is. And so servant leadership is when you are leading basically by example, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to go out and you're going to be a servant, and you're going to show. There's something that we do in the Scouts that, if we want to teach somebody to do something, what do we do?
The EDGE method.
And what is the EDGE method?
The EDGE method is an acronym. It stands for educate, demonstrate, guide, and enable.
That's right. So in that process, where do you think the servant leadership comes into play? Demonstration. Guiding, yes. So we're educating, and then we're demonstrating and guiding. So you're going to be a servant leader because we're going to serve the people
Right.
from the leadership position, right? Which instead there's the difference between a boss and a leader, right? A boss dictates, pushes, moves. Servant, a leadership, he is in front, he's not asking anything of anybody that they wouldn't do themselves, right?
Correct.
And then there's another part of that, there's missional ministry, and there's all kinds of different things that we're doing. So I say that we demonstrate our example of Christ by going out and doing this week. We'll come up with 3 things that we're going to do to exemplify the attitude of a servant leader through Jesus Christ. So I will start with 1. I say we come, and as me and you come, and we start working on all of the rooms in the church, getting them nice and clean, and make a plan to kind of revamp them and evaluate what's there, and you and Maggie start cleaning them and start organizing them and putting in a plan together to make them better. Okay, that's 1. 2 is I think that along with that, so we'll keep that at 1. We'll fix the front of the church by doing, painting the edges that need to be painted, get it all pretty and get it ready, right? We can do that?
Yeah.
And 3, we tell people every chance that we get who is having a bad day or having a bad situation or in a situation that they just feel down, beaten on, downtrodden, we tell them that we love them and explain to them why we love them through Christ.
Okay.
Would that satisfy kind of those areas, Pastor Connor? Would you say that would be good? So, and then I'll let you pick something that we're going to do to exemplify the servant leader Jesus was, and to kind of follow the Spirit and follow Jesus' ministry. What are we going to do? You got to come up with 1.
We both have to follow this?
Yes, we both have to follow this.
I think that we shall not, in any circumstance except for one, raise our voice.
There is silence in this room right now.
Because we're not raising the voices.
You want to not explain why we're not raising the voice. If you can justify that to me in an example how that is going to demonstrate the love of Christ to people around us, I will try to. I will do it. I will take that challenge.
So, in my understanding of reading the Bible, there was no reason for Jesus to straight up yell at somebody. There's no reason for him to prove to him who he was. There was always room for him to turn the other cheek. Always room for him to forgive. Did I do good? I'm getting question mark looks.
You turn that into about 15 pages, not to exceed 20 minutes, and have it ready by Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, for real?
Yes, because you're preaching on Sunday.
It's like 2 days from now?
Yes, get it ready. Because that is awesome. You're right. So you're saying we're not going to raise our voice, right?
I mean, we can raise our voice in happiness.
But we're going to turn the other cheek. We're not going to demonstrate aggression or retaliation or any of that stuff. We're going to, okay, all right, I will take that challenge with you. We cannot.
People don't tense up when you don't yell at them.
Okay.
They agree with you when you're calm.
Okay, we'll try it. We'll try it this week. So we're through Christ and through the Spirit. We're going to try not to be abrasive.
Yes.
We're going to try not to be offensive and get upset. And we're going to try to turn the other cheek to show the love of Christ. If someone is down and we physically see them, no matter who they are or where they're at, that means if they're on the street, if they're in a restaurant, if they're at the gas station, they just look like they're having a bad day, you're just going to look at them and say, hey, how's your day? Just want to tell you I love you. Christ loves you, and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they want to talk some more.
Right.
You've got that challenge, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then we're going to come and we're going to start working on the church and rebuilding spiritually and physically ourselves and the church through the church.
Yes.
By cleaning the church, by putting the things in that needs to be put in, by working on the things that we... Okay, shake on it. Now, while you're shaking on it, I think that we should also do this too. Pam came up with a great idea. Pam Elam says, what about blessing boxes? So there's blessing boxes all over the city, right? So the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, a lot of the programs here in town have put the blessing boxes out, but they're not full. She's absolutely right. There's a lot of rooms. How about we add one more thing?
Okay.
And it's going to be dual. It's going to be dual. So this is going to be dual. You ready for this? Dual. We are here at First Christian Church working with the Kiwanis Club to raise food and non-perishable food items to give to an organization. So I say that we work on making that the biggest, best donation through Christ and through First Christian Church that we can possibly do by going out and starting to ask people to donate non-perishable food cans and non-perishable food items, bring them to the church, and donate them by August 1st. And this week, take some of those donations and put them in the blessing boxes.
Okay.
Where are they at, Pam says. So blessing boxes, there are 2 of them in Smith Park. There's 1 of them in Sunset Park. Well, it used to be Sunset Park. There's 1 of them in Goldman Park. There's 2 of them downtown. And I will get the list of the rest of the blessing boxes. I believe there are some around Second Baptist Church. And there's another one. Are you familiar with any of them?
There's one in such an odd place.
There is one that's really odd, but it's always empty. But I will get a list of them. But I know that every single park, just about, that is a big park and is well trafficked, has blessing boxes. Mm-hmm. So Smith Park being there definitely has 2. Goldman Park has 1, and so does the old Sunset area.
What is it? The one on top of the hill.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Jacob Park. Jacob Park has them too. So I will call and I will get that information. I think that we know a couple people that would know where all those are.
Yes.
But yes, the blessing boxes, we will fill those up and we will get donations for First Christian Church for the food drive for the Kiwanis Club. Do you know what the Kiwanis Club does?
No. I mean, a little bit, but not really.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I am not 100% sure what the Kiwanis Club does. But I bet that if one of us gives up our seat for a minute, I know it'll be me. Because you need to know what the Kiwanis Club is. I bet that someone would know what the Kiwanis Club does. So, with that being said, I will give you someone. Connor's looking out the door. So I will give you someone as I get up and Pastor Connor comes and takes my place to tell you exactly what the Kiwanis Club does and exactly what we're doing as far as taking the donations for the Kiwanis Club. You ready? Switch me places. He's like, I'm going to get that because he's got that look on his face like, oh, wait until Sunday during service when I give you the entire Bible to read because I know that's how I'm going to pay back is reading the entire Bible. So yeah, I can see it. I can see it. We'll read the scripture, so it'll be 20 minutes of scripture.
This is the first time in a minute that we've had Pastor Connor.
The whole lectionary.
The whole lectionary.
The entire scripture. What's going on, Connor?
Not much. What's new with you?
You've seen it. You've heard it.
So, big question. What is the Kiwanis Club?
So the Kiwanis Club is a fraternal organization. They're somewhere, give or take, 100 years old. that is just a group of people who get together and they advocate and assist in anything children related. So I'm going to be a very horrible new Kiwanis member and say that there is a childhood disease that specifically they work towards curing in infants and newborns. I don't remember which disease it was exactly, and they're about this close. They literally, the percentage that like 99.5% of cases are already taken care of. They're just trying to get that last little bit, but that's been an aim of theirs pretty much since the beginning. So over 100 years' time, pennies at a time raised towards the research. The Kiwanis Club here in Middletown does a lot of different stuff. They support the reading program at the Early Childhood Center, where they will send in people to be able to read to the kids different books, usually stories from the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. They have the famous Pancake Day that, you know, everybody in town knows when it's Kiwanis Pancake Day. Whoop, whoop. And that actually is one of their fundraisers towards some of these initiatives they do. They also give out this last year, and we just had the picnic a couple weeks ago so that we could socially distance recognize the high school graduates who were receiving scholarships, and they were able to recognize 5 graduating seniors with a $1,000 scholarship for college. And that's one of the other initiatives. And then in addition to that, over the course of the pandemic, spearheaded by our club president, Henrietta and I, they've been able to make darn near close to 2,000 face masks for Atrium Medical Center, as well as a couple hundred gowns, where there was a shortage of being able to get their hands on them. So the Kiwanis Club got together and started sewing their own for them so that they can take care of that. But the primary idea is that it's a group of community people who are looking to be able to help kids in whatever way, shape, or form that is. Their most recent thing was a couple of weeks ago. They just had their golf tournament, which was another fundraiser, much like Pancake Day. And that golf tournament, single-handedly, that event is what funds the college scholarships.
Oh, wow.
So one of the interesting things for them is that when you go to Pancake Day and you pay for a ticket, 100% of the profit for that event goes to either the book reading or the mask making or the gown making or the, you know, that kind of stuff. Because believe it or not, the operating expenses of the Kiwanis Club get paid 100% by the members of the Kiwanis Club. So when they are out doing a fundraiser, that money is purely going towards whatever cause it is they're trying to work for at that time. And I really think that's kind of cool. That
is kind of cool.
You know, the people who come in to give their money towards the cause, it goes completely towards the cause.
What is the food drive? Tell us about the food drive.
So the food drive is something we're trying to do. It's real fast. It's real short. It's just an attempt that there's been a need around town. And our club president reached out to the health commissioner, Jackie Phillips, who hooked us up with Kathy Beckett at Access Counseling, who works with a lot of people around the community who are homeless. And we are doing a very short, small food drive that people can bring some non-perishable items to First Christian Church as the drop-off point. Our president-elect will be present to help collect, and that is from 1 to 3 on August 1st, so that we can turn those over. And it's just, the need came up, a way to address the need was brought up, and off we take, because that's the kind of things the Kiwanis Club does.
So now that I've heard about the Kiwanis Club, and I know what it is it going to be one of those things where I don't stop hearing about it? Whatever that weird effect is in English.
I hope so.
Good.
It's
sounds awesome.
the Kiwanis Club is getting a resurgence. There's some new blood coming into the club. So we'll rope a few new people in eventually, and we will continue with its progress because it's a very long-standing club in this community for the things that it's done and the people that have been involved in it. So
You know who I can partner with here soon? Youth Coalition.
Really?
Yeah.
Neato.
Henrietta just reached out and was talking about it. So
Neat.
that's really good. All right. You got anything
Thank
else
you.
for the Kiwanis Club?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll switch places and we'll
Give her a round for Pastor Connor.
Woo-hoo. Now, I will say this, that Connor was back there going, no, I don't want to talk. Was that not the perfect poster advertisement for the Kiwanis Club? After hearing him talk, are you not excited about being part of the Kiwanis
I'm ready to
Club?
hear
Or
more
doing
about
something
it.
with the Kiwanis
See
Club?
what they do.
So I will tell you this, and so that we have a few people watching. I've got 3, you've got 2. Our Facebook at First Christian Church has a few. There is ways to get involved with something in the community and show the love of Christ in thousands of different ways. The Kiwanis Club is one of the biggest ways that you can do it for the youth, right? The Middletown Youth Coalition is one of the biggest ways that you can do it through the youth. Your local church. All these things that are doing great things for the community, and we just seem to, and I'm going to put out a statement. Kobi, I'm going to say this, and you tell me how you feel about this. From the beginning, when we started doing these lives, we did it because of the coronavirus.
Yes.
And the very first thing I said about the coronavirus, she said, I understand it now. A lot of people said, hi, Marissa. The very first thing I said on these videos was that this pandemic, because God is so awesome, God can turn this into not a curse, but a blessing.
Yes.
I said that the very first time, right?
Yes.
I am going to say and take a step further and say I believe that through the Spirit, God is using this pandemic to make us realize that we are not too busy to lend a helping hand to our fellow neighbor.
Absolutely.
What was you just seeing something go up there? You feel the wind. Okay, so I think that through the Spirit, God is showing us that we have become so intertwined in nothingness in our lives sometimes. We get so busy doing absolutely nothing. And when we say, oh, well, I'm busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If we really took stock and said, do we really need to do that? Are we putting the effort towards the... Pam says, I believe it too. I'm glad. I really believe this. I feel it in my spirit that he's saying, look at the things that you're doing. I have stopped you for 2.5, 3 months, and the world didn't end. How much more do you not need to know that all of a sudden we're going back into a point, with this pandemic where it's very possible in the next couple of weeks, Ohio goes back to lockdown. We're missing something. And I think it's the Spirit's draw to want to get back and communicate with one another, to reconnect with one another, to reconnect with our community, and start taking care of the people that we love, which should be everyone, and the people that are in need. I think that by doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, we will see a great change. Now, we're talking about this week where we're going, and I'm asking everyone that's watching, do this with us. We are going to demonstrate the love of Christ, the servant leadership that Jesus Christ shown while he was on this earth by doing a few things. We're going to come and we're going to work in the church this week. We're going to paint and do some things in the front of the church. Anytime we see someone that is down or seems upset or seems like they're having a bad day, we're just going to tell them, hey, you know what? How you doing? I love you. Jesus loves you. You need anything? Here's my card. Here's my number. Do you want to talk? If they say no, great. We walk away. If they say yes, we spend a few minutes with them, right?
Absolutely.
And then the hardest one that's going to be for me, because I am a boisterous, but like Connor explained to me yesterday, I go from 0 to 100 and what'd you say? 130?
Yesterday, I think I said 185.
185. I go from 0 to 185 like that. So we're going to explain.
Just not raising the voice.
We're not going to raise the voice. We're not going to get excited in anger. We're not going to be quick to anger. We're going to slow down, and we're going to show the love of Christ and turn the other cheek. So that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to demonstrate these 7 days. These are what we're going to do. We're going to try. I'll be your accountability buddy if you be mine.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to try it. Now, we encourage all of you guys to do it with us. Now, I'm going to leave you with this thought. The Bible speaks a lot about things that we do. So like when we lose track and we lose focus and we lose the ability to see clearly. Pastor Connor and I have been talking about the church's vision statement and the church as a whole's vision statement and the mission statement for First Christian Church and for the church as the whole. What are we supposed to be doing? And the mission statement's easy. Making an effective change towards Christ, right? And that's the easiest thing. Jesus had a mission statement while he was on this earth. He had a vision statement. He told it from day one what his mission was. He shared the vision after he was gone, and so we need to then refocus on that. But when it comes to the pandemic and the Bible, so the Bible has all kinds of wonderful, wonderful messages. If we slowed down and we went back to the Bible, right? Not this week, but next week. We're going to try something. Alex and Aiden. Hello, Alex and Aiden. And this is for you guys. I want you guys doing, demonstrating the love of Christ, not being slow to anger, helping around where your home or your church. This week we're going to start doing things little by little to see if we can reconnect with God. Next week, I want you to be thinking about this and see what you think. There's a Bible verse that says, if my people who are called by name will humble themselves and pray, then will I hear their voices from heaven and heal their lands, and heal and take away their torture, their torment, right? So as we move forward this week, and we're doing all these things that we're supposed to be doing to show the servant leadership that Christ did while he was on this earth, and to show the love of Christ to people in our lives, what about next week we start to think about maybe, and if there's something else comes to you or something else comes to somebody that would like to share it, maybe we take that message next week serious. And we, after doing what we're going to do this week, next week for 7 days, we take an hour a day to either at the church or be in your home or anywhere you want to be and just pray. Pray for the pandemic and pray for the families in the pandemic and pray for direction and pray for clarity of what God wants us to do to start to heal and to move the pandemic in another way. What do you think about that? Is that silly? Do you think, or do you think?
No, I think it would be good.
Okay, so you guys tell me what you think as we start to close. You can send me personal messages. You can send it through the church. You can call Pastor Connor. You can call me. You can call Kobi. Anybody that you want. See what you think about. We're going to do this week. We're going to reiterate what we're going to do this week. We're going to work on the church, because we can't expect anyone else to serve if we're not serving, right? So we're going to serve the church by coming in, painting the things that need painted here in the church, cleaning up the church rooms, doing the things that need to be done around the church that they have a list for us, and we'll try to do as much as we can. 2, we're going to demonstrate the love of Christ by anybody that's looking down, who's feeling down. We're just going to take a few seconds out of our day to tell them, hey, you know what? Love you in Christ. Christ loves you. Is there anything we can do for you? Or you want to pray? Anything you need? No? Fine. We move on. If they say yes, then we do it. The next one we're going to do is we're going to be slow to anger, and we're not going to raise the voice this week. We're going to try to do that. And to fill the blessing boxes, if we can. If any of you out there can go out and just grab a couple cans, throw it in the blessing boxes. I'll throw up on First Christian's Facebook page and website this week where the blessing boxes are. Fill those up. And then we're going to start collecting food for First Christian Church as the drop-off point for the Kiwanis Club.
Yes.
That's a lot to do in 1 week.
It's a good amount.
That's a good amount. We're going to do that. And in the back of our minds, we're going to start thinking about having a prayer hour every day. Even if and it doesn't even have to be a prayer hour. Whatever you decide next week, if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, that you dedicate to humbling yourself, stopping what you're doing, and praying to God to heal this pandemic, to heal the people that are sick and inflicted with it, to heal mentally and spiritually our first responders and our nurses and our doctors, and just pray, and let's see how that works. See if God's word will return not void. If we do that, will the numbers start to maybe slow down in our area or in our town or whatever, or God does something miraculous, and then maybe someone says, I heard you and it gave me hope. That's a miracle, right? Hope is a miracle. So start thinking about if that's what you want to do next week. If not, have some ideals, and we'll do it from there. What do you think?
I think that's awesome. I do have one side request.
I got a side request. Let's hear it.
It's not even for you.
Okay.
Pastor Connor, can we end today with the Northern Lights or the Eiffel Tower? Can we pray with the Eiffel Tower? You made us in Hawaii. You can do anything now.
Yeah, but it takes a minute to.
We got a minute. Alex and Aiden, how are you guys doing? I miss you guys. I am so glad that I got to see you for a couple of hours this past week. We'll also send out a prayer request for you guys that are taking prayer requests and seeing us and following us. Please pray for Christian. Pray for my mom. She's not doing so hot with her leg. Continue to keep our church and all churches in prayer. Continue to keep Pamela in prayer. Let's see, who else would need prayer? Do you think anybody that you would want to specifically pray for? My Uncle Lon. Uncle Lonnie. We love Uncle Lonnie.
We do. Just anybody in need.
Anybody in need.
Anybody
Yep.
in need.
But we're just going to demonstrate the love of Christ. And with that, Connor is getting close to the Eiffel Tower or the Northern Lights. I don't know which one it is, but we'll end in prayer as we always do. And then we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week at 3 o'clock. Invite some friends to come and watch. If you interact and there's interaction going on like we've been doing it, I've asked people to join me 3 times a day. We have 101 people. That's awesome. Thank you very much. We're in the Northern Lights, getting ready to be in the Northern Lights. But Pamela, thank you so much for joining and watching us. Everything starts small, right? God says if we have the faith of a mustard seed, if we even have that little bitty tiny faith that things are going to work, it's going to work. And I believe this is going to be a platform that we share as in ministry, and that is blessing other people. You know, the people that are showing up and seeing us now, I love having them. I love having Alex and Aiden. I love having Justin and Christian. I love having Marissa and Pamela, and I love having all of you guys with us. Josh Linville is even watching. Paula Johnston. Aunt Paula is watching. Hi, Aunt Paula. She is amazing. I miss her so much. I wish we would go out and spend more time. We should just make it. That's one of the things we should do is make an extra effort to go out and spend time with Steve and Paula.
Okay.
Because they're
I like them.
yes, they're awesome. So, with that being said, it's time to close in prayer. So, if you guys would join me in prayer, remember what we're doing. We're showing the love of Christ this week. Next week, after that, we're going to talk about praying for the coronavirus and praying for our cities and for our churches and our first responders. But we're going to demonstrate the love of Christ. We're going to fill the blessing boxes, take donations for the Kiwanis here at First Christian Church. You can drop it off anytime. If the doors aren't open, you can leave it right there at the front door. We'll get it. We're going to not raise our voice, and we're going to be slow to anger and quick to forgive, right?
It's going to be a hard one.
We're going to work here at the church and give back to the church. And we're just going to tell people that we love them and that Christ loves them and encourage them if they're down and they feel like they're down and they look like they're down in the community. So with that, everyone knows what we're doing. We'll see you next week at 3 o'clock, and then we'll end in prayer. Join us in the manner in which you're accustomed. So Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity again to come together and to share your word, to share your light, and to share your vision. Lord, we thank you that in our hearts and in our lives, you're changing, reforming, and renewing and rejuvenizing the love and the excitement for you. Lord, we thank you for all of the people that join us on our live. We thank you for the people that watch the live afterwards. And we thank you for the incredible leadership and the determination and the wherewithal and all of the wonderful knowledge that you've given Pastor Connor to help us put this program together and to build it each week better and better. Lord, we just thank you for all the things that you're doing here at First Christian. We thank you for all the things that you're doing in this community. We thank you for everything that you're doing in Middletown and all the churches and all the people that are working together to further your kingdom and to further your vision and to fulfill the destiny that you've put in each and every one of us. We thank you for that. Lord, we thank you that you're giving us direction and guidance. Now we ask that as we leave this place, but never your presence, and camp angels about us, that they may hasten to perform your work. Lord, protect us, guide us, and give us strength to further your word. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, everyone says, amen. We'll see you next week. Hi.